Welcome to another GCN Tech Clinic where, as always, we answer the questions that you've submitted using the hashtag AskGCNTech. So, well, let's make a start and dive straight in. First up this week, we've got Tejas Halba. I'm not sure I've said that very well, sorry. And they ask, why do entry-level road bikes have external cable routings, whereas when you go up the hierarchy, the routing changes to internal? And that's a good question, actually, and the main reason behind this, well, it's actually quite a simple one. It's mostly down to cost. Manufacturing a bike frame to have internal cable routing is a far more labour-intensive process, and that's why you tend to see it on more expensive bikes. External cable routing tends to just be a small metal grommet that's attached to the frame using a rivet, which is super simple compared to internal structures, so that answers that. Next up is from Tom Campbell, and they say they ride 800 to 900 miles a month, and how often should they service their bottom bracket and their headset? Is it just a case of removing the bearings and cleaning out the cups and then refitting them? That's a good question, and you've ridden some good miles there, far more than me at the moment, that's for sure. And it's a good idea, as always, to service some of the parts on your bike, and it will help them last a little bit longer. My advice for the bottom bracket and headset is every sort of 6 months or so is just to take them apart, give it all a clean out and apply a little bit of fresh grease. And chances are the bearings inside that are going to be sealed cartridge bearings, so there's going to be very little you can do to the bearings themselves, but you can clean the faces of the frame out and make sure you don't run into any problems there. Once you've got it apart, you can then check the bearings for any wear, and if they feel worn or they're particularly rough, then that's the ideal time to replace them. Next in, we've got King J814. And they ask, they own an Orbea Gain and they love it. Whilst it might not be necessary, they were considering upgrading the wheels. Is that something that can be done on an e-bike, especially one with a rear hub drive like what Orbea and Pinarello use? That's a good one, actually, because upgrading your wheels is often one of the areas many people invest in on their new bikes first. And you can do this even though you've got a rear motor hub drive unit. You can still do this because you can actually get a new rim laced onto that hub, but it's important that the new rim you get fitted to the rear wheel is suitable for an e-bike motor, because some of them out there, particularly lightweight ones, may well not be quite suited for that. So it's worth heading down to your bike shop and asking them about that, because they'll be able to give you lots of advice on that. Obviously on the front wheel, it makes no difference whatsoever, so you can find a front wheel that you're happy with and then hopefully find the rim that matches up to the front and you've got some nice fancy new wheels for your bike. The next question we've got is submitted from Kevin Timmons, who asks, is there typically any difference between the puncture protection among various sizes of tyres, such as 23, 25 and 28 millimeters of the same tyre type? For example, a GP5000. And that's a good question, actually, but comparing different sizes of tyres across exactly the same tyre type, there is no difference in puncture protection. They've all got that same construction and the same tyre technology involved, so that in that aspect there's not going to be any difference in the puncture protection, but using a larger tyre will have a bigger volume and can reduce the risk of pinch puncture where the inner tube is pinched in between the tyre and the rim, so that might make it a little bit better. But looking at 23mm tyres, they are a little bit narrow by today's standards and not that common anymore, so 25 and 28 is probably a pretty good option to go with. Our next question is from Luca Silverman, who asks, can they use Vinegar as a degreaser on their drive chain because it's more cost effective and they always have some at home? No, you can't use that. It's just, it might work a little bit, but it's going to be pretty rubbish. The best bet is to get some dedicated bike degreaser, and if you can, get a bio one too, because it's better for the environment. Save the vinegar for your fish and chips. Next up, Alex Tabe asks, a couple of days ago, oh, good name, Alex. A couple of days ago, Alex made a video about Di2 Hacks and showed us how to pair the top buttons on your shifters with your head unit. Does this work with Ultegra and Dura shifters, and what other head units will also work too? Well, thanks for that one. And it will work with Ultegra and Di2 shifters. Both of those have that functionality available. And it will work across a variety of different head units, be that Wahoo, Garmin, as well as many other brands out there. But it won't work with every single type of head unit, so you do need to check, especially that your head unit has got Bluetooth functionality to pair up to the module that you'll need. So a little bit of research, but I'm sure it'll work with nearly most equipment. Next in is from Han of God. recently they had a collision with a car, which doesn't sound great. Hope you're all right. And what should they be looking out for when they're checking their bike? It's a carbon frame and fork, and there's no visible signs of damage, but is there a way to check if there are any cracks under the paint? Well, yeah, so as I said, hope you're right after your crash, never good to have that. And it is important to check that your bike isn't damaged because, well, you don't want to run into any problems further on down the line. And if you had a particularly big crash, then it is important to check your bike. And first off, the easiest thing to do is a quick visual check of the bike. And like you say, you want to check if there's any damage underneath the paint. So you can look all around the bike, check for any stress areas, and normally that will crack the paint straight away because the paint is not as flexible as the frame can be in some situations. You could research to see if there's a carbon repair shop near you because they'll have specialist equipment that can x-ray your bike and see if there's any damage inside the frame which you wouldn't be able to see otherwise. So it's worth spending a bit of time and seeing if there's anywhere near you that does that. That rounds off another GCN Tech Clinic, and I hope you really enjoyed that. And as always, keep those questions coming down in the comment section below using the hashtag AskGCNTech. See you later. Thank you.